power. It is the invisible currency of human interaction, shaping relationships, organizations, empires. Whether in the court of a king or the boardroom of a startup, those who master power hold the keys to influence, control, and destiny. In this audiobook, we explore the 48 laws of power, drawn from the cunning maneuvers of emperors, revolutionaries, spies, and CEOs. Each law is accompanied by deep historical insights and examples from modern life, from Napoleon to Steve Jobs, Cleopatra to Jeff Bezos. Let us begin. Law 1. Never outshine the master. Make those above you feel superior. If you make them appear more intelligent, more capable, and more in control, you ensure your own survival. The moment you appear more competent or brilliant, you invite insecurity, rivalry, and retaliation. Consider Nicolas Fouquet, finance minister to King Louis XIV. A man of ambition and flair, he threw a lavish party in honor of the king to show his loyalty, but it only exposed his wealth and taste, making Louis feel threatened. Days later, Fouquet was arrested and imprisoned for life. In corporate environments, young employees sometimes try to impress with bold ideas, but fail to frame those ideas as extensions of leadership. If a junior executive overshadows their boss in a boardroom pitch, it could lead to resentment, not reward. Key takeaway: make your superiors feel like the sun, and you, a humble planet orbiting their brilliance. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends, learn how to use enemies. Friends are emotional, they can betray you out of jealousy or disappointment. Enemies, on the other hand, have something to prove. They can become more loyal allies because their motivation is stronger: redemption, reputation, and revenge against the past. Otto von Bismarck, the German chancellor, often recruited political opponents into his circle. He believed they would work harder to earn trust and had fewer expectations of personal favoritism. Look at Abraham Lincoln. His team of rivals included former political enemies. He believed their diverse viewpoints and competitive spirit made his administration more effective and less prone to echo chambers. Key takeaway: don't hire out of comfort. Loyalty from necessity is stronger than loyalty from sentiment. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. If people can't predict your moves, they can't prepare defenses. Distract them with decoys, misdirection, or vague talk. Reveal your goals too early, and you risk interference, sabotage, or resistance. During his rise, Julius Caesar masked his desire for absolute power under the cloak of serving the Republic. By the time the Senate realized his true intentions, it was too late. He had crossed the Rubicon. Steve Jobs rarely disclosed future Apple product plans. His secrecy fueled curiosity, minimized competition, and created grand unveilings that changed industries overnight. Key takeaway: be a magician. Reveal only what enhances the illusion, never the trick behind it. Law 4. Always say less than necessary. Words are dangerous. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish, reveal too much, or reduce your mystique. Silence is a weapon. It creates power through scarcity and ambiguity. King Louis XIV was known for his mysterious, minimal replies. His courtiers lived in anxiety, unsure of where they stood, giving him an advantage in every interaction. Elon Musk often tweets cryptic statements, a few words that stir markets, spark rumors, or hint at massive shifts, keeping public attention locked and competitors guessing. Key takeaway: speak with precision. Let silence make others fill the void with their own interpretations. Law 5. So much depends on reputation, guard it with your life. Reputation is your shield. Once damaged, it's hard to repair. A good name attracts allies, opportunity, and respect. A tainted one invites attacks. Build it wisely, defend it fiercely. In ancient Rome, a general's name was everything. Scipio Africanus gained glory through military victories. His name became synonymous with discipline and honor. It protected him from political rivals. Brands like Rolex or Mercedes-Benz maintain reputations for luxury through control, consistency, and exclusivity. One product flaw or scandal could tarnish decades of prestige. Key takeaway: protect your name as if it were a fortress. A single crack can bring it all down. Law 6. Court attention at all costs. To be powerful, you must stand out. The crowd is forgotten, the bold are remembered. Never blend in. Be controversial if needed, shocking if possible. Attention is a currency, and those who master it write the narrative. P.T. Barnum, the great American showman, understood this deeply. He once paid a man to walk the streets with bricks in his hands, drawing crowds who then wandered into Barnum's museum. He knew, attention leads to money, and money leads to power. Think of Kanye West. His unpredictable behavior, controversial statements, and media stunts often overshadow his music. Yet, this visibility grants him influence far beyond his industry. Key takeaway: silence may be golden, but obscurity is death. Be seen, be remembered. Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Efficiency in power is leveraging others' expertise while you remain the face of success. Leaders don't always create, they orchestrate. Delegate, absorb glory, and reinforce your dominance. Thomas Edison was a master of this. While Nikola Tesla developed many of the technologies Edison became famous for, Edison marketed, sold, and profited, becoming a symbol of innovation. In tech, many CEOs are seen as visionaries, but the core innovations often come from hidden teams. Steve Jobs didn't build the iPhone's components, but his leadership made it iconic. Key takeaway: let others sweat, you collect the spotlight. Law 8. Make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. By forcing others to act while you remain still, you hold control. When they move on your terms, they reveal intentions. Use allure, promises, or even fake weakness as bait to draw them in. During the Peloponnesian War, the Spartans often drew their enemies into terrain that favored them, waiting silently until the right moment. Control came from patience, not aggression. Negotiators like Warren Buffett rarely chase deals. They wait for businesses to come to them in need, putting Buffett in a dominant position, setting the terms, dictating value. Key takeaway: don't chase power, attract it. Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Arguments breed resentment. Even if you win, the other party is left humiliated. Power is better achieved by showing results, not debating them. Galileo knew this. When trying to convince elites of his heliocentric model, he avoided debate and instead built a telescope, showing them the truth through their own eyes. In business, rather than arguing over strategies, effective leaders run test pilots. Data speaks louder than words, and silences critics. Key takeaway: don't argue. Demonstrate. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Negativity spreads. Those who are chronically unhappy or unlucky bring others down with them, emotionally, reputationally, even financially. Associate with the fortunate and powerful instead. During the French Revolution, association with unpopular figures meant death, literally. Even innocent nobles were executed due to proximity to scandal. In the corporate world, companies that merge with failing partners often suffer themselves. Bad reputation and mismanagement can be contagious. Key takeaway: energy is transferable. Choose carefully whom you let into your circle. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. If they can live without you, they will replace you. To hold power, create a dependency, offer something they can't get elsewhere. This keeps you valuable, even irreplaceable. Cardinal Richelieu, advisor to Louis XIII, created a state system so complex only he could manage it. His indispensability kept him safe and powerful for decades. Apple's ecosystem keeps users dependent. iPhones sync best with Macs, eCloud is tailored for their system, and switching becomes hard. Dependency locks in loyalty. Key takeaway: don't give everything. Be the only source of something essential. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. One sincere act creates a halo of trust. When people believe you're honest, they lower their guard, and that's when you strike. The con artist Victor Lustig once sold the Eiffel Tower, twice. His early gestures of honesty and paperwork were so convincing that victims didn't suspect a thing until it was too late. Some marketers offer free products to collect data or build trust. Generosity isn't always what it seems, it's bait. Key takeaway: truth, when used strategically, is the best disguise for deception. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to self-interest, never to mercy. People are naturally selfish. Asking for compassion makes you appear weak. Instead, show them how helping you benefits them. When Cleopatra needed Caesar's support, she didn't beg. She offered him political opportunity and romantic alliance, tapping into his ambition, not his mercy. In business partnerships, proposals succeed when they highlight shared profits, audience reach, or market expansion, not just personal need. Key takeaway: make it about them. Everyone's favorite subject is themselves. Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Gathering intelligence is essential. The more you know, the more power you wield. Be friendly, even intimate, and quietly collect information. In ancient China, the strategist Sun Tzu taught that knowing your enemy was the path to victory. Spies were a crucial part of every campaign. Tech giants analyze user behavior endlessly. Every click, scroll, and purchase is data. By knowing you, they control the market. Key takeaway: information is power. Become a master of quiet observation. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. Mercy invites retaliation. Half-defeated enemies plot revenge. True power lies in complete dominance. Destroy their ability to rise again. When Octavian, later Augustus, defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra, he didn't leave them alive. He eliminated rivals completely, then rebranded himself as Rome's benevolent emperor. In business, look at how Facebook, now Meta, absorbed or eliminated rising competitors like Snapchat, by copying features, and WhatsApp, by acquisition. Dominance requires thoroughness. Key takeaway: don't wound the snake. Behead it. Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Too much presence breeds familiarity. And familiarity, as they say, breeds contempt. Strategic absence adds value to your presence. When you're always available, your worth diminishes. Napoleon often withdrew from his court without explanation. When he returned, anticipation made his words more impactful. His presence was treated as a gift, not a given. Celebrities like Frank Ocean or Kendrick Lamar go years without releasing albums. Their silence builds hunger and mystery, making their return feel like an event. Key takeaway: disappear to be missed. Starve them of your presence, then return as a legend. Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Predictability allows others to prepare. If people can't guess your next move, they waste energy worrying. Unpredictability causes fear and respect, a powerful combination. Ivan the Terrible kept his nobles off balance by punishing randomly and rewarding unexpectedly. His unpredictability made rebellion unthinkable. Elon Musk's sudden pivots, from buying Twitter to launching rockets, keep competitors and the public off balance. This air of chaos feeds his legend and deters threats. Key takeaway: don't be a script. Be the plot twist. Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. In trying to shut out danger, you also shut out information, opportunity, and allies. Isolation makes you vulnerable, not safe. Power thrives on connection. The last Chinese emperors hid behind the Forbidden City. They were blind to rebellion brewing outside, and when it came, it was unstoppable. CEOs who lose touch with employees or customer needs, think Blockbuster or BlackBerry, fail because they isolate from the very currents that matter. Key takeaway: fortresses are walls that keep you blind. Step into the crowd to stay in control. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Some people forgive, some retaliate. Power requires reading personalities. One wrong insult to a vengeful ego can trigger a war. In the 16th century, playwright Christopher Marlowe insulted a nobleman and was found dead soon after. The wrong enemy ends careers, or lives. In the corporate world, a single tweet mocking a powerful figure can end partnerships. Just ask anyone who insulted Elon Musk publicly while working in tech. Key takeaway: don't throw punches until you know who's across the table. Law 20. Do not commit to anyone. Staying neutral keeps you powerful. Commit too early, and you become a pawn. Let people chase your support. Make your loyalty a prize, not a given. During the Italian Wars, Queen Elizabeth I refused to marry, using her status to keep suitors and nations vying for alliance. Her indecision was her leverage. Influences often avoid brand loyalty, instead promoting exclusives to the highest bidder. Their neutrality increases their market value. Key takeaway: remain a free agent. Never sell your loyalty cheaply. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. People feel superior when they think they're smarter. Let them appear harmless or naive, and they'll reveal more, giving you the upper hand. Zhou Enlai, a Chinese diplomat, often played humble and soft-spoken in negotiations. His opponents underestimated him, and paid the price. Warren Buffett's folksy image makes him appear simple. But beneath the charm is ruthless calculation. Underestimation is his camouflage. Key takeaway: when they think they have the upper hand, that's when you strike. Law 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. When overpowered, don't fight, bend. Yield temporarily to gain time, study your opponent, and wait for the right moment to return stronger. In the Second Punic War, after early defeats, Rome didn't retaliate recklessly. They waited, rebuilt, and ultimately crushed Hannibal. Apple accepted Microsoft's dominance in the 90s, took a bailout from Gates, and played weak. Then it revolutionized the industry with the iPhone a decade later. Key takeaway: surrender is not defeat. It's strategy. Law 23. Concentrate your forces. Don't spread energy thin. Intensity beats diffusion. Focus your time, money, and resources on a single goal, and dominate it. Alexander the Great focused his army on rapid, precise conquests rather than scattered campaigns, allowing him to build an empire swiftly. Jeff Bezos focused Amazon solely on books before expanding. That precision allowed total dominance in one vertical before moving to others. Key takeaway: master one thing, then conquer the rest. Law 24. Play the perfect courtier. Power is often proximity to those in control. The perfect courtier flatters subtly, never outshines, and navigates politics with grace. This art wins favor and influence. Baldassare Castiglione, the Renaissance courtier, wrote the Book of the Courtier, a guide to pleasing princes without offending them. His insight earned him a long political career. Corporate climbers who master boardroom etiquette, dressing well, speaking little but wisely, crediting bosses, often rise regardless of merit. Key takeaway: charm is the grease in the gears of power. Law 25. Recreate yourself. Don't accept your role. Build your persona as a work of art. Power lies in transformation, when you shape how others perceive you. Napoleon crowned himself emperor. He rewrote his origin myth from minor noble to divine ruler. Image became reality. Lady Gaga transformed from Stefani Germanotta into a global icon. Reinvention became her brand: unpredictable, powerful, profitable. Key takeaway: you are your own brand. Sculpt it boldly. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. When dirty work must be done, have someone else do it. Keep your image pure while your agent takes the blame. Machiavelli advised rulers to distance themselves from cruelty by outsourcing it to others. The prince remained beloved, the executioner was feared. CEOs often announce layoffs via consultants. The dirty deed is done, but their image stays intact. Key takeaway: be the angel. Hire the devil. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Humans crave faith, in ideas, leaders, causes. Offer certainty, purpose, and a mission, and they'll follow you anywhere. Joan of Arc galvanized armies by claiming divine visions. Her followers believed they were part of a holy cause, and fought with fanaticism. Startups like Tesla, Apple, or even CrossFit built cult-like tribes. Their followers aren't just customers, they're evangelists. Key takeaway: feed belief. It's stronger than logic. Law 28. Enter action with boldness. Hesitation invites attack. Boldness signals confidence. Even when uncertain, act certain. Cortés burned his ships upon landing in Mexico, signaling bold commitment. His men had no choice but victory. Startups that launch aggressively, even with imperfect products, often outpace cautious competitors. Fortune favors the bold. Key takeaway: timidity loses opportunities. Boldness multiplies them. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Don't just act. Anticipate. Strategize. A powerful move today can doom you tomorrow if you fail to see its long-term impact. Hannibal famously crossed the Alps to surprise Rome, a brilliant tactic. But he failed to plan the next phase, and lost the war. WeWork expanded too quickly without sustainable structure. Lack of long-term planning turned a $47 billion valuation into bankruptcy threats. Key takeaway: victory isn't the start, it's the finish line. Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. If you show the sweat, people doubt your genius. Make success look natural, like breathing. Hide the hard work. Reveal only brilliance. Mozart composed complex pieces in days, often pretending to be relaxed while doing so, reinforcing his legend. Serena Williams plays grueling matches, but her controlled expressions and grace under pressure project ease, intimidating opponents. Key takeaway: effort inspires pity. Ease inspires awe. Law 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. Give choices, but only ones that benefit you. People resist force, but they accept control disguised as freedom. During the Reformation, Monarchs offered religious freedom, but only among limited acceptable options. Freemium apps let users choose between free with ads or premium, both benefit the developer. You feel free, they stay in charge. Key takeaway: freedom is illusion. Control the frame. Law 32, play to people's fantasies. Truth is dull. People want magic, hope, escape. Give them a dream. They'll give you power. Alchemists and prophets survive not by facts, but by selling hope, eternal youth, gold, salvation. Marketers sell lifestyles, not products. Nike sells victory. Apple sells innovation. Politicians sell utopia. Key takeaway: the world is ruled by dream merchants. B1. Law 33, discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has a weakness, a hidden desire, fear, or trauma. Find it, and you control them. It's not cruelty, it's strategy. Queen Elizabeth's advisors knew the ambitions of her nobles. She fed them just enough to keep them loyal and obedient. Data analytics firms track preferences, insecurities, and habits. Ads, algorithms, and recommendations exploit those weak spots daily. Key takeaway: power lies in precision. Know their pressure points. Law 34, be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. People judge you by how you carry yourself. If you act confidently, with dignity and grandeur, they will treat you accordingly. Appearances matter, project value, and others will assign it to you. Christopher Columbus was a common man, but he demanded ships, titles, and gold from the Queen of Spain as though he were nobility. His confidence convinced monarchs he was worth the investment. Oprah Winfrey built a media empire by carrying herself with authority and vision from day one, even when she was unknown. Her image of leadership helped make it real. Key takeaway: if you don't believe in your worth, no one else will. Dress, speak, and behave like power, and power follows. Law 35, master the art of timing. Rushing is as dangerous as waiting too long. Learn to recognize the perfect moment to act, and to wait when necessary. Timing is the invisible architecture of success. Julius Caesar waited until the Senate had become corrupt and unpopular before crossing the Rubicon. The moment was right, and Rome was his. Netflix waited until internet speeds and devices were ready for streaming before pivoting from DVDs. That perfect timing made them industry giants. Key takeaway: time is your ally if you master it. Be patient, then strike like lightning. Law 36, disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. When you desire what you can't have, you look weak. When you respond to insults, you validate them. Instead, turn your back, show indifference, and take away your enemy's power. Diogenes the Cynic once ignored Alexander the Great's offer of wealth, asking instead that the king stop blocking his sunlight. The ultimate display of disdain. Celebrities often ignore online hate, knowing that silence frustrates critics more than reaction. Key takeaway: what you ignore, you diminish. What you obsess over, you empower.
L37, create compelling spectacles. People are visual. Dazzle them with grand gestures, symbolic acts, or theatrical flair. What they see, they remember. Power is enhanced by drama. Napoleon's coronation was filled with ceremony and opulence. He even crowned himself, symbolizing independence from the Pope. It cemented his image as self-made emperor. Tech events like Apple's keynote launches are masterclasses in spectacle, dark rooms, glowing products, and drama, all to frame technology as mythic. Key takeaway: reality is negotiable, presentation is everything. Law 38, think as you like but behave like others. Freedom of thought is your right, but open rebellion against convention isolates you. Blend in outwardly while guarding your beliefs inwardly. Galileo published his ideas carefully under layers of allegory and dialogue to avoid persecution. He survived where others didn't. Employees in rigid corporate cultures often adopt dual personas, fitting in publicly while nurturing entrepreneurial ideas in private. Key takeaway: outward conformity buys inward freedom. OR 39, stir up waters to catch fish. Angry, emotional people make mistakes. If you can provoke them, you gain control. Stay calm and use their reactions against them. Frederick the Great baited his enemies into attacking too soon, then crushed them when their anger clouded strategy. In negotiations, some lawyers provoke emotional responses just to make opponents lose composure and make poor concessions. Key takeaway: never rage in battle. Let your enemy do it. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Nothing is free. Every gift comes with strings, obligations, guilt, or control. Pay your way and remain independent. When the samurai accepted gifts, they often returned them promptly to avoid hidden traps of loyalty. Venture capital often appears as a free lifeline to startups, but it can cost control, direction, and even the founder's position. Key takeaway: pay with coin, not submission. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. Following a legend is dangerous. You'll live in their shadow, constantly compared. Forge your own identity. Reinvent, don't replicate. Louis Canville tried to rule like Louis Canville, but the people saw only an imitation. He failed to recapture the Sun King's glory. Tim Cook didn't try to become Steve Jobs. He shifted Apple's strategy, focusing on supply chain mastery and services, carving a new legacy. Key takeaway: be the next first, not the second coming. Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. In every group, one person holds power. Target that leader and the rest fall apart. Cut off the head, not the limbs. In ancient Israel, Absalom rebelled by targeting King David directly. The followers lost faith once their leader was shaken. In politics or business, ousting the founder or CEO often leads to internal collapse if they were the symbolic anchor. Key takeaway: remove the source and the symptoms disappear.
Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. Force is short-lived. Influence lasts. Win people emotionally, through empathy, shared vision, or inspiration. Control the mind, and you control action. Mao Zedong didn't just rule through might, he reshaped Chinese thinking through education, propaganda, and ideology. Barack Obama's "Yes We Can" campaign didn't offer policy details, it inspired a feeling. That feeling won the election. Key takeaway: hearts first. Minds follow. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Mimic your opponents. Reflect their actions back. It unsettles, confuses, and makes them question themselves. It's power through imitation. In battle, Scipio Africanus mirrored Hannibal's tactics, eventually defeating him by mastering his style. In debates, skillful politicians reflect opponents' arguments, turning their words against them to expose hypocrisy. Key takeaway: a perfect reflection distorts reality and disorients enemies. Law 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. People love the idea of change, but resist it when it feels unfamiliar. Introduce change slowly, wrapped in tradition. Tsar Alexander II freed the serfs, but changed little else, enraging everyone. Reform that's too fast breeds chaos. Facebook rebranded to Meta, but retained many old features. Drastic innovation is dangerous unless it feels familiar. Key takeaway: change in small doses. Wrap revolution in tradition. Law 46. Never appear too perfect. Perfection breeds envy. People admire the successful, but hate those who seem flawless. Show minor flaws to appear human. Julius Caesar wept at the statue of Alexander, showing vulnerability to his soldiers. They loved him more for it. Celebrities who share struggles, like mental health, often gain deeper fan loyalty than those who only show perfection. Key takeaway: perfection is isolating. Flaws make you relatable. Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, learn when to stop. When you win, stop. Push too far, and your success becomes your downfall. Know your limits, and walk away with grace. Alexander conquered much of the known world, but pushing into India exhausted his troops and led to rebellion. WeWork expanded beyond co-working into vague, life mission, territory, and collapsed from overreach. Key takeaway: stop when you're ahead. Know when enough is power. Law 48. Assume formlessness. Be adaptable. Rigid structures crack. The truly powerful adjust with time, people, and events. Water takes any shape and carves through. Bruce Lee said, "Be like water." Chinese generals believed the flexible army survives, the rigid one shatters. Amazon constantly reinvents, from bookstore to e-commerce giant, to streaming, cloud, and AI. That formlessness keeps it dominant. Key takeaway: the most powerful shape is none at all. These are the 48 laws of power. You have now journeyed through over 3,000 years of human behavior, from palaces to parliaments, battlefields to boardrooms. Use them not recklessly, but wisely. Not to manipulate blindly, but to navigate consciously. For in understanding power, you begin to understand people, and ultimately, yourself. Power is not good or evil. It simply is. The question is, what will you do with it?